But Blackpool Zoo, it was a banger. It was great. They had a dinosaur section, which seems ironic considering there's no dinosaurs left. So it's just an empty part of the zoo.
It's definitely
I had a guy actually grab me and laugh. Joe was there. We were at a wedding, and I had a guy grab me by the collar and threatened to bash my head in because I said I didn't like Oasis. True story.
Oh my god! Yes.
Story.
We were all talking about our favourite things, and someone said Oasis, and you went, "Shut the fuck up, cunt!"
Used to do it in about 5.
My dad beat me to the sound of Wonderful.
It liftened it.
It was basically Joe drunk and singing like.
Yeah, the word I'm looking for is
Liftened.
It's liftened by experience. It bigged it.
What
Made it
was that
larger.
song? That's it.
Such a
Worst
bitch.
song for me was Hello, because it started the album and it signified that I was going to have a bad time.
Did you know that Manchester was named?
Okay. Hello and welcome to Album Review, the podcast where we review albums.
We do.
There's Joe, there's Aidan, there's Denver, and there's me, Will.
Why are you pointing?
Because I don't point because it never
Who
goes
knows
right.
who's who now?
There's Will.
You can guess who we are.
There's Denver.
This week's album is Oasis. What's the Story, Morning Glory?
Oh.
This is for, as we've started to do some of the requests we've been getting, and one of our loyal fans, who isn't here right now, ironically, has requested this album.
Not loyal anymore.
Rip.
So we're going to do it, and it's very controversial because I think 3/4 of us here don't even like Oasis. So we'll see how this goes. So I think this album is quite good.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This being said,
Why?
right, and I've got to say this from the off. Did people listen to the remastered or did they listen to the original?
The
original.
I listened to the original.
So we all listened to the original.
Mm.
That's good
Oh.
because I feel like the remastered sounds like ass compared to the original.
Oh.
Oh.
And
I didn't even compare.
so you would, I could honestly tell when it was like the wrong one, and instantly, I don't know. You'd think remastered would be like they make everything just sound cleaner and everything. There's like a weird distortion on everything, and it makes it sound like weird through speakers. And like I'm like, why would you want to listen to this over?
Have a listen now.
Like
Which one do you think stood out on the remastered one?
like instantly the first one. Like
really.
I even on the way like home today, I was like giving it a final listen and stuff, and I was like, and I just put on the remastered one because it's like just there on screen kind of thing. Because I've done it so many times. I've clicked the remastered one because you have to literally search the fucking album to get the original. I just accidentally clicked on it, and I instantly noticed that it was fucking.
I instantly see what you mean. It's like almost like they fuzzed it. Like there's like a fuzz on it.
It's so weird. So
well, thank you for the technical term, sound engineer.
Fuzzing.
No worries.
They added a little bit of fuzz.
It is fuzz. Fuzz is a thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a movie, Hot Fuzz.
I'm glad you agree because I honestly thought I was like, am I just being weird here? Like, surely the remastered would be better. But like, I swear that it just sounds really weird and off. It almost sounds like the original is the remastered. Which is weird. But you can definitely tell, even with the original, that it's like quite old because the production isn't great. I'd honestly say the Beatles music had better production, which is bad because this came out after the Beatles and everything. Like,
By some margin.
By some margin, but I would honestly say the Beatles
Like,
album was
25
better.
years.
It feels like I always think about like the way they record things, right? And this sounds really like
Sound engineering.
or sound engineering, but I get I don't know if this is true because I've not any researched this, but I get the feeling like when they did Beatles, they layered it, so they recorded everything everything separately and then layered it. It feels like this band, it's almost like they were in one room, mic'd everything up, and you get in all of the.
No, 100%.
It's like they recorded it live as well.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. It sounds like it's all live, like because you get on the remastered one, obviously it has the live performances, and it doesn't sound that much different to the thing because it sounds live.
That was part of the way they wanted to do it.
Maybe I don't know.
A lot of bands still record live, but like it's weird because like even the Beatles, like say, a much older band, it all feels very layered and everything's separate,
crafted.
Crafted, definitely the right word. Whereas this, I feel like everything's just mush.
They've recorded the whole song several times, and they got the third time we did it was the best. That's the one on the album.
Yeah.
Rather than like nitpicking every little bit, but maybe that's why it's like, I don't know, that kind of seen as like the people's band, Oasis.
They are.
The people.
So maybe that makes it like it's not so like produced and clear.
Are they everyone's people band?
They're the Manchester People's Band.
There you go.
They are the Manchester people.
I'd say they're a people's band, providing you earn less than 30k a year.
Then it's then ironic that they're millionaires.
It's their working class band.
Definitely the working class band.
But
there are few songs in my life that I connect to more than Champagne Supernova. I feel like it really expresses the situation that I'm in.
100%.
Caught between a landslide.
They defined a generation, says Neptune Moon, which I definitely think is true. I feel like a lot of bands are shaped off of Oasis. I feel like they're very much ingrained into just British culture in general.
Fill out your bingo cards. If you hear the words iconic, the word British culture, like you hear anything like that, tick it off the bingo card.
It's true for Oasis though, because like every fucking event you go to has Oasis playing. That's
angrily slams desk.
Sorry,
Oasis.
I dropped my iPad.
Going on?
I dropped my iPad. I'm sorry. They are just ingrained in our culture. I don't know if they ever were like that big in America. I honestly have no idea. I feel like they probably were because these songs are huge, but obviously it's very like for us. Everyone knows Oasis. Everyone knows that it's these two brothers that made it, and everyone knows they broke up, and there's this big beat. Like everyone knows about it, even if you don't follow Oasis. Like it's just massive, and all their songs, especially in football, it's like played at most grounds. And every time there's a World Cup, every time there's a Euros, it's always they play these songs at the end of the games, and like everyone sings to them when they're celebrating. They're just everything screams British about them, kind of thing.
Hey, Joe, what you got on the bottom of that cup there, lad? I saw you picked up your cup though. What you got on the bottom there? On the bottom of it, underneath of the cup. What's that? No, I'm not saying put it under you. I'm saying what is that?
I'm not going to tip it upside down, am I?
Well, that's kind of what I was hoping you'd do. But on the off chance, I was just
not
wondering
a fucking idiot.
Is it just a label?
There is a label. I was just wondering why you've still got the label under there. That's all.
I don't know. Just never took it off.
Have you never put it in the dishwasher yet?
I don't have a dishwasher. I clean by hand.
Oh.
Neptune Moon says Oasis were the pinnacle of the last decade of freedom, i.e., without phones, internet, social media, it was all about freedom.
Back in the good old days.
Imagine it was like very like political and stuff. Like
100%.
Well.
You could
like very much
stomp a toddler and get away with it.
Which is why they were called like the People's Band, because I think there was a lot of what's the word? It's not civil unrest, is it? Is that the word?
I don't know, but their songs don't really scream rebellion, do they? Just
no, but the fan base and stuff I think was very like.
And plus they're rebelling against like conventional music, you know.
Say so, because I don't know what other obviously there was the big thing with them was obviously they had that like they them and Blur were like the biggest bands, and then they were like always clashing, and they were like clashing at music awards, and like people would literally be massively Oasis or massively Blur, and it would just always be this big conflict they had.
I feel like I don't even know any Blur songs, but I do, and I just don't realize that.
Yeah, you definitely know some of their songs. Then honestly, I don't really like Blur at all. Like, whereas I do like a lot of Oasis's stuff. Personally, this album itself isn't my favorite Oasis album. This has very much got like probably their most well-known songs on it, but I don't think it's their best album by any stretch. Like, I think I mainly picked it because it was the most popular, so it's like it's the one I guess everyone's supposed to listen to.
You would know Blur songs, Denver.
But would you say, Joe, that you like them more than these?
Blur?
Yes. Judging by their songs that you just
I don't care about them equally.
Oh,
there we go.
But I've just looked at Blur. I didn't realize Blur has a logo, and it looks fucking awful.
We'll put that on screen. We'll move that around the screen.
If you've seen Blur's logo, it literally looks like a really, really like strict business.
Do Oasis have a logo, or is it just like a pint?
I don't know. A lot of the it's just a pint. I think most bands' logos are just their name, aren't they?
Yeah, some of them have like interesting spins.
I don't know if Oasis have a logo. Everyone obviously used to wear the fucking Parkers because of Oasis.
They do kind of have a logo. It's kind of just their font, really, with a box around it.
To be fair, they could have Comic Sans, and I think that's the people's that's the people's word art. That's the people's font.
Neptune says this is the non-Oasis fans album, so it is very much like the the one that's everyone's told to listen to, but it's not like if you were a big fan, you probably didn't resonate with this one that much.
What would be the one that people would listen to if they were a big fan?
That's a good question.
Just out of curiosity, because like I've been converted.
Like, what's your favorite album? But I can't remember the name of it.
Spotify changed again.
But I really like Be Here, Be Now. That's for me their best album. There you go. It says Be Here, Be Now as well.
When was that one out? Was that like early 2000s or something?
Be Here, Be Now.
1997.
A
year before I was born. I wasn't even around.
And only 2 years after this.
That is also has a remastered album as well.
I know.
If we ever go back to Oasis, we'll have a gander.
Fucking Blur sing Park Life.
No.
Park Life.
No.
The worst song.
I just hate Park Life so much.
I've got two liked songs by Blur. It's Intermission.
Neptune says, "Fuck me, I'm old, you bunch of fuckers." Growing up listening to this, and it's like came out before we were fucking born.
It must be literally looking at like all the youngsters shit on all the good music. Like,
I know.
Fucking hell.
So this album, it's not my favorite. The production's not obviously to this day's standards and stuff, but it's still, I think, very listenable. I think that's probably helped by we'd listen to it all the time because of it just being on all the time. You probably don't notice it as much as you would if it was like a smaller band that had this kind of production. I think a lot of the songs obviously you've heard a million times. So it's kind of, I feel like that's kind of swayed my top 3 a bit because
definitely can relate to that.
Because you're kind of like sick of the proper classic ones. So going back and listening to this is actually like nice hearing the ones that are lesser known a bit.
I think it's the only album review ever where there were songs that came on that I literally insta skipped because I was just like, I just know these.
Yeah.
Like inside and out, I know these songs. I don't need to hear them again.
Neptune has just confirmed my theory. He said they're recorded as a whole band rather than instrument.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what I said at the beginning. So thank you for confirming that.
Yeah.
I said it too. Yeah, I think yeah.
No, I'm not saying. Oh, I said that. I'm saying that. Thank you.
That's what you're saying. That is exactly what you're saying.
I'm not trying to take it away from you. I'm not trying to be a dick.
Oh, I was right all along. I don't know. Thank you. No, I mean, oh, fuck off.
I'm not trying to say this, but I have exactly said this.
It takes a good ear to know that, Neptune says. Well,
there you go. Gets his t-shirt out. Sound engineer. Fuck's sake.
I forgot I got a sound engineer shirt.
Yeah, well, I was.
But you can definitely, you can definitely tell that. But yeah, it was nice hearing like the lesser known songs within it. Though there was not many though, because you can see why this album was massive, like because of the amount of like of their most popular songs that are in it, like the classics that are in there. I think lyric, like obviously his voice, I feel like if you don't like his voice, obviously their voice, you're not gonna like them very much because it's very prominent in every song. He doesn't like necessarily go outside of that range very much. So you could understand if you just didn't like that, then you just wouldn't be into it. But I do think they have variation in their songs, not necessarily with instruments and stuff, but you can definitely separate them from one another, which is quite like, it's like all props to him considering like it's just kind of the same instruments and everything. Obviously they throw in harmonicas and stuff. I don't know. There's nothing, but lyrically, honestly, I didn't take much notice. I don't know if anyone else did. But again, I feel like I didn't look into that too much because we hear it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So many of the songs on the album you just kind of know because of how popular they became as songs.
Literally. So I think in the future it'd be worth doing one of their lesser known albums, and see what you guys think, because obviously everyone knows pretty much the majority of these. So worst for me was actually Hello. I don't really like the start to the album. I feel like while I really like the choruses, I don't really like the backing and the verses that much, and I do feel like the production is like one of the worst on that songs. Like it feels very messy.
Like the footballer.
Like the footballer.
Man, I'm just gonna have to be back in a sec. I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries, lad.
But with it being the intro, I was like, there's far better songs that probably could have started with on this.
I think it was a very good intro feel though. I felt like it felt like it was an intro song. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really have any problems with it. It was just a bit of a nothing song.
It's because it had that like slow build. Like at the very beginning of the song, it starts to play another song on their album and then switches it and starts with another song.
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
And doing that, like if you had that song at any other point in the album, it would be really odd, but they get away with it as the first song. That's why I was like, it definitely feels like they made that song to be the first song. And it's called Hello. So it's like, hello, welcome to our album, kind of.
Do you reckon this was one of like the first albums that was properly structured? Because there's a lot of albums do what they did now, obviously because there's like an intro where it plays Wonderwall at the start and like bleeds you into it, and then there's like 2 interlude songs as well, which obviously we see that quite a lot now, but I don't remember any old bands that used to do that.
I think we just haven't done enough older bands. I think it's just
You reckon it was
a generation thing. It must have been done. I know there's a period like where you can say back in like the 60s or whatever with the Beatles or 70s where
they would just throw all their songs
you had to make 2 or 3 good singles and then that would sell your whole album.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas I guess this was still in that. I guess we've only really gotten away from that in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Definitely.
Ultimately. So there's a bit more of a thing to structure them. So I suppose before that point, it was all based on just whether an artist would see their work their album as a collective thing, or whether they just saw it as, here's the next 10 songs I came up with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, when's the last time you guys bought a physical album?
I don't think I ever. Oh, I thought vinyl. So the new 1975 album,
When was that?
beginning of this year.
Oh, that's not too,
Or was that
too far ago.
last? No, it was end of last year.
In the last year. What about you, Rob?
Does vinyl count?
Yeah,
Well, that's
we'll
what I
count.
counted. So
We'll count vinyl, but vinyl's back in, really, isn't it?
Because I got a Biffy Clyro vinyl when their last probably like 2 years ago, and I do want more vinyls, but I couldn't care less about. I don't even have a CD player anymore. Like
I've never bought a CD.
Really?
Probably you've never bought a CD.
See, I used to when I owned a car. Basically, the only reason I'd ever buy a CD was for car driving, and that's when I owned a car that didn't have an aux port, only had a CD player, so I needed a bunch of CDs.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've had no reason to buy anything physical.
No.
I've never put a CD in my car, in any car I've ever owned.
That's mad. See, I would.
Because I was never that mad on music anyway, and I've only really sort of got into music more since being like probably since I got a car and was listening to the radio all the time. Because I was never at a young age a music person in terms of like I played the drums, but I didn't listen to. That's just because I liked playing the drums. I didn't actually listen to a lot of music. So I remember, like it was only literally when I started working at where I worked because they had the radio all the time and driving in the car, and then I got Apple Music when Apple Music first came out. I got Apple Music, and then after that, I never bought.
And then your Taylor Swift fanage just erupted.
Well, no, Taylor Swift was before stream because I bought albums on iTunes.
I thought you was about to say I bought a Taylor Swift album. Though. It is.
I bought all Taylor Swift's albums.
There you go.
On iTunes. That was the whole reason I never got Spotify, because I was like, well, I only listen to like Taylor Swift and a few others, and I own all that music. So then when Apple Music came out, and your whole iTunes library was just instantly merged with whatever else you wanted, it was fantastic. Because like, I've still got all my Taylor Swift songs and everything else. Even though Apple Music was worse, especially at the beginning, like fuck me, when Apple Music first came out, you couldn't even shuffle.
Oh, really? You had to listen to everything in order.
Well, so sorry, you could shuffle, but you know how like with any album or any playlist you make, you can just start with shuffle.
Yeah.
You had to pick a song and then shuffle from that song.
Well, that's not that. That's just sounds like nothing to complain about, because you could just click a song, and then if you don't want to listen to it, just click on the next one, and you're in shuffle.
Okay, yeah, but then that's a bit annoying. So, it's a shuffle, so I've always got to click the first song and hit skip straight away. Why is there not just a shuffle button?
I feel like this is such a slight inconvenience.
It really is.
Are you telling me?
Apple Music was shit because I had to pick a song.
You're saying this, but how often when you click on a playlist or music, do you pick a song first?
Always.
I always do that.
When
you always like scroll through and think,
I'd say 90% of the time,
nah,
I go,
I never do that.
I've got a song in my head that I want to listen to.
Yeah, I do that.
Never. Always full playlist shuffle.
I mainly do artist radios now. Like I'll listen to say Lewis Capaldi's new song on a thing, and then let it go through all that, or I'll listen to
anything. That's why I love Spotify because it also introduces you to new stuff as well. It's like, we'll make you a playlist of stuff that you already know, but we'll just sneak some new stuff in there as well and see if you like it.
It's been a while since I've done any of that, but.
That's really good.
Neptune says, being a geek on this, I know that Don't Look Back in Anger was too early in the album, but they didn't know where else to put it. So they just kind of threw it in. And Jesus, Stop It, it's like listening to fetuses speak. Because Denver never owned an album. No, I remember... I would literally go into HMV to buy like an album that had come out. But I would have been like really early teens doing that. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I think
I used to love just going and looking at them, like looking at the CDs and stuff, and just going, "Oh, I know that band," and that's about it.
It's like that though. It took my dad so long to get used to the fact that he could just go on YouTube and listen to songs. Like he would still just go back to like his CDs and put them in, or I would get him a CD for his birthday and still be like, I can get that for your dad, but you can listen to all this for free.
This is what annoys me
get
about
Spotify
my dad,
or something.
He's got everything on a fucking SD card. And I'm like, Dad, you've got Spotify, you've got a car that you can put Spotify on the main screen, and you're still using your fucking SD card.
Does he use the argument my dad does, where he's like, yeah, but what if that goes away? I've always got my physical CD. This is mine now.
He goes, well, all the songs I'll ever want to listen to are on my SD card, so why would I?
Are they illegally downloaded as well?
No comment.
Songs on SD card these days, like without illegally downloading.
It's very, very old SD card. Anyway, Neptune says,
I know you.
Sorry,
so say if you had the CD version, I guess you could export it to like an MP3 and then onto an SD.
No comment.
I've got a mate who put all these songs on.
I've got a guy. Neptune says, do any of you guys care about sound quality, i.e. listening to lossless / high res? I mean, I think I would have enjoyed this album 10 times more if it had like modern sound engineering mixing on it.
Yeah.
I think if everything was like more in your face, cleaner, everything, you had nicer separation between all the instruments and his voice, I think I'd enjoy it 10 times.
But maybe the thing with them, especially recording all at the same time, it kind of, the whole point is to almost not for it to sound super clean, for it to give more of that
raw and
more of that we are the people feel. Like we just put a mic in a room and we were playing songs.
Yeah. That's nice. It's like it's almost more genuine type of thing.
Rather than like some producers spent painstaking hours on. Actually, can you say that word a little bit different? We'll just try a few more times with that one word, and then we'll just piece it all together. Like I feel like, I mean, probably many artists do it, but if you've ever seen like the behind the scenes stuff with Billie Eilish and Phineas, who produces all the songs.
They do it like word for word and then just mix all the words together.
Literally.
Yeah, it's like it is not one cut. It's like, so yeah, this section was from the 8th take. This section was from the 56th take. Yeah. This section, like, and you're talking like a few notes each time. It's insane.
They take one line from a verse and it's got 40 different tracks.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That's an insane level of production to get the perfect sounding.
And I feel like it's almost not needed. Like,
I don't know, it's one of them. It's the final few percents of like quality, isn't it? Like, if you ever have good headphones and listen a Billie Eilish song, they do always sound so clean and
they do
perfect. Yeah,
they're so well produced. But I think the thing is, I don't know. It depends on the style of music because I really like 1960s music, like like the Fallout type of music. I really like that, and that's obviously not well produced. But I think when it comes to songs like this or bands like this, I just like everything to be really tight and clean, and don't clip that out of context. But I like everything to be, like sound like it's all on purpose, and the drums are so connected with the guitars, and everything's rhythmic, and I don't feel like this album does that. And Neptune just said sometimes though clinical sounding is soulless, and I definitely think it can be. But I think it can also be the opposite as well, in my opinion. This is a very critical album review. This is a very
critical. We haven't even gone away from my review yet.
No. What was your third favourite, Will?
Third favourite.
Fuck. My third favourite was actually Cast No Shadow. I think they did a good job of like, even though obviously Don't Look Back in Anger was kind of thrown in where it was. I feel like they spaced the album out really well, so it never got like, there was always like a big song coming up, or there was always, and they had like obviously Cast No Shadow and Wonderwall were like the two kind of acoustic ones, and they were spaced out again to kind of quite well. I think Cast No Shadow is quite slept on. Like, I think it's quite a nice sounding song. I like when it's like quite stripped back. with them.
Yeah.
And Wonderwall, the trouble is Wonderwall, it's such a fucking meme now. Like,
I know, this is it. Like, you kind of just can't fully enjoy it now.
like you can't fully enjoy that song, and it's so overplayed. And whereas Cast No Shadow, I completely forgot it even existed, to be honest. And I was like listening back to it, I was like, it's actually quite good. To the point it was nearly up there even more because I'd just completely forgotten. I thought it was quite well done and stuff, but it was hard picking a top 3 because I was like, these songs I've heard a million times, but do they deserve to still be up?
Them, yeah, like you don't know if you're liking them because you've heard them so much, or are they good?
Yeah, like do they deserve to be up higher because they are probably just better?
Was it actually a standout song? You've heard it so much that it's now down here, and
yeah, exactly. That's the issue. But you know, I was just thinking as well. Do you know what he was saying about obviously them all just playing in one thing, and I feel like part of them just playing all in one room is they were fucked all the time and drugged up, and they were just like, do you know what? Fuck this. Let's just go in, make a fucking tune, and then just put it out.
Play at the same time.
It's the most like Gallagher thing I can imagine them to fucking do. But yeah, second for me is Don't Look Back in Anger. I feel like
we're only on second for Will.
Yeah, we've gone on a fucking roller coaster.
We've gone on a critical fucking nightmare.
Why? What happened?
Well, not nightmare.
We've gone very like detailed for us. Like we usually just say, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's good. We've actually gone into
talking about
production detail
again. That somehow came
just everything, mate.
Death Stranding came into the equation as well.
You've missed out on the most intellectual chat I think we've ever had.
Yeah,
to be fair, maybe that was why. Because Aidan disappeared and we just put our fucking
the monocles
on. Yeah,
I do say.
Yeah, second, Don't Look Back in Anger, because even though it's been played a million times, I feel like it just deserves to be, and I still love that. Whereas a lot of the other songs that have been just massively overplayed, I just wasn't that bothered about listening to. But that one, I'm always just like, it could be part of the football thing. I'm not gonna lie, because it's always football and it's very nostalgic in that way. Obviously, it's sang at like every fucking England thing, and it is just really good. Like big build, big ending, great choruses, and I think that actually has quite a good meaning in the song and stuff. But first, and it's arguably probably my favourite Oasis song ever, and I don't know why. I just really like it, and that is literally just She's Electric. Always loved it. I love the acoustic at the start. I love like it's like proper jolly-ish. I don't know what the word is to describe when it's like constantly like up and down. Yeah, but it's just it is a hippie tune, literally, but it's just like happy and chill, and it's stood out for me quite a bit on this album, and it's actually that song that I've been listening to a lot that made me want to pick Oasis, and then obviously when he said about and then when our viewers said about listening to it, I was like, oh, it's literally on that album, so that's perfect. So that's why I even picked it in the first place. Overall, I think it is a really good album, and it's obviously as big as it is for like a good reason. I just wish I'd love to hear like a modern take on it, like the production changed, but whether some of like the soul would be lost from that, I don't know.
That's what made it great, Will.
Exactly. And obviously from this, there's been so many bands and so much like inspiration from it, and everyone knows who they are. But I would love to. I think in a few like months' time, maybe it might be worth doing another one just to see that has like lesser known ones on it. Maybe.
No, that's all right.
Where did you put Some Might Say? That we only do like top 3 and worst, so we don't really rate in between that.
I would be.
But
here
that
for
was
like
one of my
3 hours.
yeah. But it would be like close, I think. It's the top 3. But
Like
yeah,
hypothetically, you know.
hypothetically, Joe,
It's me.
take over from me because I've probably been talking for about half an hour.
I was going to say, I'm going to try and be quick because we're 45 minutes into Will.
Fuck!
Jesus! It's not quite that long because we didn't
Obviously,
start
we had
until like
about
10
10
minutes.
minutes.
Oh my god! Sorry.
Half an hour for Will's review.
I mean, it was.
But
I
no,
barely.
I was going to say it wasn't really your review. We've been chatting about loads of stuff anyway. So I'll try and get through it. I don't know why. I've never been able to like get into Oasis, and I think a lot of it's because of the production just being not great. And I think the only thing that Oasis actually has going for it is that it's unique. Other than that, not a big fan of them, and I'm sorry. I am sorry because I know these are very, very popular, very loved. But I just don't like it. I think there are some good songs on there, but nothing blew me away. And like I said, the only thing that I could think while I was listening to this was it's different, and that's about it. And like I said, I'm sorry if that upsets anyone. But I like the chord progressions. I like how the chord, they're not just like basic chords, like the chords are always voiced very nicely. That's a nice word for it.
That's also not true.
It is. They're like sevens and like.
Aidan's already on the hate train for Oasis. Just you wait.
Bro, you know
we're going to end on such a sour note.
But yeah, and like I say, like I've not got much. To be honest, it's kind of good because I've not got much to say about it anyway. Just I think the production being so bad is such a shame. It stops me from listening to it really at all. Wonderwall is just a shame because it is actually a good song, and I imagine when it first came out, people fucking loved it and were just listening to it constantly. Now you can't help but feel embarrassed whenever you put it on.
Joe, what was the song that me and you covered? When we was in a band briefly, and it was an Oasis song.
Was it an Oasis song?
Was it Half the World Away?
An Oasis song. It was Half the World Away.
Yeah, I fucking love that one.
That is a good song. Yeah, I feel like they have better music outside of this album, and I think that's frustrating because I don't know where to look for it. But I also can't be asked to look for it either.
Tommy's not sifting through that shit to find the gems. He is not doing that.
No, exactly.
It's not worth Joe's time or effort. He's a busy man.
My Bird Power says, Michael, hi. I don't feel embarrassed listening to Wonderwall. Well, you probably should.
Two Michaels in one chat.
I think I've seen that porno.
My least favorite was my least favorite was Cast No Shadow, because I actually feel like he sang fucking horrendously.
Really?
In this song.
Oh, I really like that.
The chorus talk is horrific in that. Like, it's bad.
But you know how you were saying how, like, when they recorded this, they were probably fucked. This is probably the last song they recorded, drugged up to the tits, and they were like, oh, fuck it, that'll do, type of thing. But yeah, it doesn't sound good in this album.
I think, because obviously Liam was the main singer, but I think in that song, Noel does a lot of like the main singing in that, which might be why you think about the vocals being different.
To be fair, I bet playing the same 4 chords would really throw him off from singing as well. Like, just being such an amateur guitarist.
Listen,
do you think in all the songs they have the mic too far away from them, and you feel like he has to like shout across to the mic?
Have you ever seen Oasis perform? He fucking caresses that mic.
Yeah, he
leans into it. He puts his face like here. He leans over with his hands behind his back and just leans into the mic like. So no, I don't think he's shouting it from the other end of the room, unless it all changes when he's doing it live.
Also,
I just feel like, you know, when you're like,
I can't wait to see that one back.
you're like in the background, so you're like, hey, hey, hey. I feel like it's that same feel.
It's that sound. It's that
Yeah.
sound. Yeah,
Oi!
100%.
She's electric.
It's like he's trying to sing it to someone who's really far away,
Yeah.
but not in pure volume, just in like tone.
I know what you mean. But I will say though that my top 3 I genuinely did like. And if anyone put it on, I wouldn't be complaining. So my third favorite is She's Electric. Good song. Like Neptune said earlier, happy vibes, cool vibes,
Cool vibes.
cool vibe. Definitely cool
All
vibes.
the vibes.
I could just imagine sitting on a sunrise on a hill
On a
somewhere.
sunrise.
Sitting on a sunrise.
Sitting on a sunrise.
Sitting on a sunrise.
That's an album name.
Looking at the sun, that is a cool album name.
Right.
Just looking at the sunrise somewhere and just looking at it with a beer. I can imagine that being really cool for the time. Yeah. My second favorite, Don't Look Back in Anger. Classic song. My brother loves Oasis, and he really likes this song in particular. And it's just a good song. Just probably the best hook on the album, I'd say. You know, the whole "Don't Look Back in Anger," I hear you say bit. Probably the best hook on the album, in my opinion. But I was about to say it's best by a mile, but it's quite close. My favourite is Some Might Say.
Some might say.
Some Might Say.
So was Don't Look Back in Anger your second?
It was my second, yeah. Some Might Say was just, just really like upbeat, groovy, and a nice all-rounder song. And it made me feel great coming out of
I
it.
thought it had cool guitar.
I was trying to breathe
Definitely
while singing.
the guitar.
While speaking. It's definitely.
It's so weird.
I think
I don't know why he's like posing as well after everyone. It's like hydromatic, automatic,
I think
Dramatic.
and it's just a chill song.
I think one thing that hasn't been mentioned, which was also another big thing for me, the fucking length of the songs killed this album.
Two in particular.
They were so fucking long, and for no reason, because they didn't like. It's all right. Oh yeah, we made the song longer, but here's like a new bit that you didn't expect. No, it was just the same fucking shit on repeat for an extra 2.5 minutes longer, and I didn't need it. I was thinking, right, I've heard it all now. Can I skip to the next song? She's not going to fucking change anything.
Again, it gives massive, like, they've just recorded it live vibes and they just
And
didn't stop.
they've just gone into
One of them just turns around in the booth like, "Run it again!
Yeah,
Do it
they're just like,
again!
I'm really feeling it. Let's do it. Let's just repeat
Let's
again.
do the same take! Quick! No, Noel, get on the guitar and do it. Yeah, no worries. Wow, 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 wow.
I
Thanks,
didn't realize
Noel.
Liam's real name was William.
Is it?
Well, he shortened it to the inferior version of Will's name.
His real name's William.
So I could be called
right.
Liam. And Billy.
It's just a fuckboy name, though, isn't it? Really.
My name is just the best name.
Or it's just
Overall,
Bit of a versatile.
easy.
Overall, it wasn't shit, but wasn't great either.
Thanks. Yeah, that's great. That.
I'll read some of the comments before we do. Also remember during the night is the majority of fuck me, I'll try that again. Also remember during the night is the majority of us were fucked up whilst listening to it. It always helped.
Good times.
That does make sense. Now Liam has the mic in his mouth. Liam gives the mic oral. Yeah. Matey boy in the bottom right could do with taking a leaf out of Liam's book and getting closer to the mic. Can't hear him properly, apparently. And fuck me, wait till you do Be Here, Be Now then. Every song is over 7 minutes long.
No.
But the songs are better.
I guess
In my
we're
opinion.
never doing that album.
I don't want to hear the same fucking Liam chorus 19 times at the end of the song. Don't make me do it.
The choruses are very different.
Quick, Noel, hit the same 4 chords again in a different order this time. Come on, Noel. Get it done. I had a guy actually grab me and laugh. Joe was there. We were at a wedding, and I had a guy grab me by the collar and threaten to bash my head in because I said I didn't like Oasis. True story.
Oh my god! Yes, you
True
did.
story.
You did.
True story.
We were all talking about our favourite things, and someone
Yeah.
said Oasis, and you went, "Shut the fuck up, cunt!"
I was like, fuck off, lad. And he was like, you fucking serious? He was like this big. I was like, yeah. No, not about that. They're like football fans, you know? People that like Oasis are like football fans.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a massive Manchester football fan, like
Manchester number
Red
one
number
fan.
Manchester Super Red number 1 fan.
Yeah, but that's different. That's lad music, you know?
that
is
that
lad
is
music.
lad music.
This
Yeah, but
is
this was lad
but like
music.
the origin of lad music before
Yeah,
it
it just doesn't feel
before it
laddie
was
enough.
funny,
Though.
you know?
It feels just
Says,
knobbedish.
be careful there, Aidan.
Whoa.
I am an Oasis fan.
It might have been Michael, to be fair. I didn't know him at the time, so it could have been Michael.
Ah, fucking hell.
He would have nutted me. I would have been taken down.
Denver.
I think the trouble with this album is it's the whole is it good or is it just because you've heard the songs a lot? But then have you heard the songs a lot because it's good? You know?
No.
Like so many of the, in my opinion, every song on this album I'd either heard before or was shit. Like, and
that's
so
fair.
so
That's
is it like
fair.
the album was so famous that like every good song on it went massive, but then anything that didn't was terrible? Or is it just because I know them that I think they're the better ones? It's really
they were
hard to.
They were famous for a reason. Like they wouldn't have got big off of just shit. You know what I mean? Like, but
No, yeah. So when I say shit, I just mean I don't like it. But then also the majority of people must have not liked it because they weren't big songs in comparison to their others, like relatively so. But they do have a very sort of. You can't deny how big the songs were and how big they were as a band and how popular they were. So they definitely resonated, I guess, with a lot of people. But obviously before our time. So it's a little hard to sort of gauge perspective of that.
Sure.
So I think a lot of them, it's just the songs almost have a classic feel, but like a modern classic feel.
Yeah.
I feel like what hurts the Oasis band in general is the sort of reputation and vibe around the fans, because it's not exactly a nice culture that Oasis, like, I don't know, gives off.
We're not a friendly culture.
No.
I feel like you only hear the bad things.
No, they're lovely people. Like the guy outside the bar. He was great.
This is exactly.
He's a great guy.
I think this is exactly it. Like, they had being Oasis fan and Manchester City fan had that like classic look that was almost spawned. Came from Oasis, so it was like almost this like culture. Like you could see a certain person and be like, I bet they're an Oasis fan. They almost gave off like a stereotype image.
You know what? To be fair, I kind of agree with that, because if you look at my brother, he looks like an Oasis fan.
I can imagine your brother wearing a Parker
does.
jacket, honestly.
You could, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Honestly.
They became that image. I think the album itself is very well structured in terms of like well-defined
pacing,
intro, outro, and it has like the interludes, which I don't mind actually. I think it's a nice 30-second change up and something a bit groovy. And I didn't dislike them. They weren't too drastic away. Maybe it just made it think like that there was some thought that went into the order and placement of the songs, so that it was a whole album and not just, hey, we made 10 songs and bashed them on an album. So yeah, that's it really. My least favorite was Hey Now.
You're a rock star.
Because I thought it was a bit meh, and it goes on way too long. They obviously loved performing it and just performed another verse and chorus when it wasn't needed.
Why haven't we done Smash Mouth?
That's so true.
Because they only have one song.
They're also awful, so we could get them in. Like maybe we should do like an awful week or something. Guys.
Fuck's sake.
That's every week when I do an album.
True. Let's go.
If Joe just did all the picks.
Awful year.
I feel like 3 out of 4 of us would have probably committed suicide by then. We wouldn't have got to this point.
Which one would be left?
Oh, I usually like your picks, Joe.
So yeah,
No, you
Will
don't.
probably.
No, you don't.
Will would be the
More
one
than anyone.
You like it. If any, you're more likely to like a me pick than anyone else.
Yeah, you suck ass.
Yeah, you suck ass.
He's my yes man.
That means yes man. That's what I do.
Stand up to him.
I gotta keep him happy.
Well, you weren't a massive
stand
fan
up
of
to
his
him.
last one, in fairness.
The Landon Conrath one.
No.
Oh, but that's because that was literally only because I know he can do better.
What, Joe or
Both.
Landon?
No, because
Joe,
the
pick
guy.
better.
The guy. The Landon.
Landon.
Still don't know how you
Where
say
do you
his
live?
name. Landon.
Landon. England is my city.
I still don't know how you fucking say his name.
I forgot where I'm up to.
You're a third favourite.
Third favorite. Roll with it. Thought it was decent. Second favorite.
That is the most. That was decent. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway,
Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yeah.
That's been in everyone's so far.
Second favorite.
Not
And
really.
then top song, She's Electric.
Yes.
But I always go into that. Anytime I saw it come up, I just think back to Joe singing that song.
I am electric.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a completely different song.
I
So
didn't even
always
think of that.
Before it even started, I went in with like a happy thought always, and it was a pretty good song. So that combined with a personal like attachment, even though it was actually nothing to do with that song, this moment, but it just was
It liftened it.
It was basically Joe drunken singing like
He's the word you're looking for is items,
Liftened.
Joe.
Was
It's
it?
liftened by experience. It's biggened it.
What
Made it
was that
larger.
song that said I am electric?
What's that number?
What was that song that I am
It was
electric?
called
song?
It's called I Am Electric.
Was
Like
it?
that is the song.
I'm
yeah.
electric.
It was just you drunken
I am
singing it.
pain.
That is one of my favourite Joe moments
And
ever.
it's by you know what? It's weird because obviously it was on Rockstar where you can't really hear the lyrics. You have to know the song to sing it. I went back and listened to the song. I got it pretty much smack on. By the way.
Because you were just reading the words, just going, I'm electric.
Did anyone
No, it's-
record it? Like, I don't
No,
know.
like, we were all doing the instruments, weren't we? It was
Fuck.
like it just goes to show you if you're just yelling like as loud as you can, you probably will get close to the screamo songs you're trying to replicate.
It's more of a pig squeal than an actual fucking.
But it worked.
It did
You know,
work.
It
It did
worked.
work. I can't remember
I'd
what the band
listen to
was.
that again.
but-
I'd listen to that 100 times before I listen to another Oasis song. Maybe even 1,000.
But yeah, in general, I think it's one of those. I can't really tell if it's good or not, but it obviously was very popular. And then there's so many popular songs on it that I'm kind of like, yeah, this is all right. And then the rest are crap. But I don't know. It's a tricky one to review because so many of the songs on it were so popular. It's like you're going into it preloaded, knowing half the songs.
Yeah.
But then as a album, like I said, in terms of structure, it's pretty good. So sort of in general, it's kind of balances out.
I haven't heard anyone say the word crap in so long. No one's.
Nathan Drake.
Does he say it?
Nice. Good throwback.
Did I say it?
You said you said crap, and I was like, fuck, I haven't heard anyone say that.
Crap.
Thanks for appreciating that.
No, I get you, Joe. I get you.
I appreciate it.
Shut up.
Aidan. This is going to be a therapy session, right? Because I really want to get to the nitty-gritty of why you have so much hate for Oasis. I want every detail.
We need you to do it in about 5.
My dad beat me to the sound of Wonderful.
but equally, you need to do it in about 5 minutes.
I know what some might say.
You need to do it in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I can speed through this. There's no worries.
Why 5 minutes? What's happening?
Well, there is a really time limit, but obviously.
What, do you need to go to bed?
Oh, it was a bedtime, Denver!
You need to go change the shit!
Come on, Aidan.
Well,
give me
sorry,
every
lads,
detail.
but if you're here for an Oasis review, you're going to have to wait. Because I said last week, if you remember, put it up on screen. I don't. That I was going to further listen to Landon Conrath 3 more times because I felt like shit last time.
You did!
And so I had Joe and Denver questioning my review.
You did!
Right? So I'm here to clear the air in a fun-sized review, like Denver. I agree that I may have rated it too low, but not by a lot. It's still just mostly fine. You're welcome. That's my review.
That didn't change anything.
We said you could change it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
all I needed was 0.5.
I was going to say, so you wouldn't even give it 0.5 more.
What did I give it a 6, didn't I? Or was it lower than that? Yeah,
you
no,
gave it a
I
6.
wouldn't. I would not give it more than a 6.
I'm sad.
Like, it's impressive that they managed to make the same song 12 times for one album.
Oh fuck! Why do you think it's the same song?
It just is. If you like messed up the chords, because you're always using the same tone and stuff. You just sort of mix them around a bit. You just get the same song every time. You can't deny that there are some iconic songs here. They are quintessentially British.
Yes.
Yes.
Bingo
Which is
card.
where I, unfortunately, fall flat. I have here an ancestry test. And I can tell you, with full disclosure, that I am 40% Caucasian English. 30% Native American. 10% tummy problems. 5% cabbage. 5% virginity. And 10% African American. Based on this knowledge, not only do I have the N-word pass, but I can only physically rate this album a 40%.
Sound logic.
You can't say fairer than that.
You came with all the facts, and I can't argue with it.
I've got the facts right here. It's definitely not my passport. That is the fact. The cold, hard facts.
Damn.
And that's all I tell. The truth. So we'll start listing the cons of the album. It exists. There are songs on it. Liam and Noel are part of it. Now let's raise the pros of the album.
Thank you.
Such a
Worst
bitch.
song for me was Hello, because it started the album and it signified that I was going to have a bad time.
I feel like your hate for Oasis is so unjustified.
It is really, really.
You've got
deep
such
in
a
it.
fucking hate boner for it.
You know, I love Aidan's energy, and I've just downrated my album by 1 point.
What the fuck?
Aidan has just put it in perspective to me. I was like, God, he's so right.
He hasn't even said anything. He just said he didn't like it.
Just said, not a fan.
I'm just chatting absolute shit, and Joe's like, this guy.
This guy knows what he's talking
Down.
about.
Joe's
the
like, maybe I'm
Andrew Tate
10% African as well. It's like, yeah, I get it now.
Fuck's sake. Oh, this fucking album. Oh, shit. Third favourite.
Least favourite?
Third. I have done least. It was Hello.
Oh, yeah, of course it was. Sorry.
Sorry, it's all good. Third favourite for me was She's Electric. So it is up there, but it's not my favourite. Mainly because of the verses, which are just horrific.
Yeah.
If you read the lyrics to them, they're
She's
pretty
electric.
bad. No, it's not that. It's
No,
like
it's not.
there's one line in it where he's like, oh, I like this girl. She doesn't speak to her brother. I also fancy her mom. And I'm not exaggerating. Those are the lyrics, basically. So, yeah, it's still kind of, as Joe said, groovy, funky, hydromatic, grease lightning. Second favorite for me was Champagne Supernova.
What?
Because it's slower. I don't like Don't Look Back in Anger. It pisses me off and it's whiny and it's annoying.
Champagne Supernova is so long though.
But that's what I like in a song, which is why my first favourite is Some Might Say. Big up Guitar Hero World Tour. What a banger. Wow.
That is a banger.
Absolute iconic scenes. Overall, if it was an oasis in the desert, it probably should have stayed a mirage.
Oh,
No. What a line.
I feel like we've not come to grips why you have such a hate boner for Oasis.
Liam
Have you
from my
seen
dad.
them?
Do you think you just hate who they are?
He just hates
I-
poor people.
I dislike poor people. I dislike. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll level with you. I dislike when people are thrust into the limelight when they've basically done nothing to earn it. And these guys are like the bare minimum of talent.
Wet leg.
Like Wet Leg.
Mm.
Bare fucking minimum of what they've actually had to do to become famous. What they're famous for is they're quirky and Liam and Noel like batter each other every other week. Because what they've written is not actually good. Like, the lyrics are terrible. The chords are mostly dog shit. It sounds whiny as hell. Like, I'm sure maybe their stage presence is really good, but Greater Manchester as a whole is a shithole. And everything that comes from it is a shit. No, I can't say that. That's really mean. But it is a shithole, and I wouldn't go there again. 0 out of 10 on my Manchester review.
It is low on my rankings of best cities.
Of like, yeah, but ironically,
I'll tell you where
sorry,
it is
no, please.
worse though, but it's not a city.
Slough.
I went no. Blackpool.
Oh, that is pretty bad, to be fair.
That's just the
I went to
Skegness of the
Blackpool
West.
other day. No, it's worse. It is worse.
The West.
It's fun. There's some nice bars, and then they've got Madame Tussauds.
No, it's
They had a Doctor Who
So
museum that me and my family went to when I was younger, and I don't know if you remember, like you probably never watched old Doctor Who. Denver might have because he's a Tory, but like they were scary. There was some like horrific shit on there, and I was only like 10. I just bought a brand new pair of Heelys. And, like, I don't know.
How
do you
I
spell
can't go
that?
through this museum. I'll see if I can find some.
I
some
cannot
pictures.
imagine Aidan with Heelys. Could you imagine Aidan with Heelys
I
now?
never learned how to ride them. Like, I was so
just
scared.
had them.
The amount of people I knew that
God,
stacked
this-
it over like one rock, and they just like
Heelys
face planted.
still exist.
They're a big thing, I think. You know. Do you remember that where you'd like deploy your wheel and like off you went?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we went to this Doctor Who museum in Blackpool, and it scared the shit out of me.
Amazing.
But Blackpool Zoo, it was a banger. It was great. They had a dinosaur section, which seems ironic considering there's no dinosaurs left. So it's just an empty part of the zoo.
It's just a fucking fossil.
This is where dinosaurs would have been if they were around anymore.
It's just an empty fucking room. Empty
Yeah,
room with a
that's-
fossil in the middle. Ugh.
That's my review.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Ratings, boys.
7.5.
4.
5.5.
3.5.
Damn.
What does it
Score.
get?
20.5.
Out of 40.
Oh, which is the same as another band we had recently. Architects, the classic symphony,
Somehow with
Symptoms of a
Architects.
Broken
Yeah,
Spirit.
but me and Joe carried that, let's be honest.
She's got a bang of a fingered you down in a black van.
What
that a
about
banger?
thumbs up, thumbs down, Joe?
It's got to be a thumbs down this time, guys. I'm
Thumbs
really
down.
sorry. It's a thumbs down.
Woo.
But more importantly,
Hmm.
what's the next album?
I'm glad you asked, Joe. I need to go find it again, but I'm pretty sure Will already he has it ready and sorted. So I might have to pass it over to you, Will, because I've already forgotten his name. Actually, I've not written it down.
Well,
I've got it.
I'll mouth it and you say it, and it'll look like I've said it.
Just say it really
Right.
high pitch.
hi, I'm Aidan. It doesn't sound anything like this. His next album, or my next album, being Aidan now, is just I don't know where I'm going with this. The next album is Luke Combs, and the album name I didn't think to fucking get up because I thought it'd be on the album cover. It's getting old. Luke Combs getting old.
It's so trying his best.
Neck bearding all over the place.
Thanks,
I can't wait for us to
guys.
sing that up.
Oh, fucking brilliant.
Oh, there you go. That's the next album.
Wow, what an album!
I like
you
the
all.
bit especially
I'm
when
Go on.
Will coughed and it went.
It was worth
Well,
a try.
Thanks everyone for watching.
You're gonna give us a fact, Joe?
Did you know?
Don't call him fat.
Did you know that Manchester was named?
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks everyone for watching.